Even almost 2 years after being added, raids are still one of Clash Minis' most boring and empty features. As Clash Minis' first and currently only thing to do in clans other than chat and battle, you'd think they'd be more fleshed out, yet almost nobody plays them. In this video, I'll be exploring why raids are so forgotten and some ways they could be changed in the future. On March 3rd, 2022, raids were introduced alongside clans in the Season 2 update. Raids can be started from the clan screen, at the time up to 10 people from your clan can join. Sounds great, right? Fun activity that people in your clan could work together on for rewards, yet there was a problem. You had 48 hours to deal 1000 damage to the boss as a group, but the max damage you could do each battle was only 15, which meant it took an absurd amount of time to take down, even with 10 people. Every single round played against this boss was a grueling process. All you did was mindlessly play the perfect counters to the boss's setup, so you could see the location upgrades before the round even started, which resulted in raids taking very little strategy and feeling incredibly dull. On May 12, 2022, Supercell attempted to make raids a bit less grindy. They reduced the health of the boss from 1000 to 200, while also decreasing the raid time to 24 hours and max participants to 5. This did indeed make raids a lot less time consuming, yet didn't do anything to solve how repetitive they feel. Still boring, just not as long. While this was a step in the right direction and showed they were attempting to improve raids, it didn't combat the actual problem of unstrategic gameplay. On July 14, 2022, clans got a pretty big update, meaning raids did as well. Raids now on multiple difficulties: beginner, veteran, and nightmare. With this came a change to the boss's levels as well. Formerly, the boss would start at level 1, slowly level up to level 10, the lower its health got. Now each difficulty had its own boss levels. Beginner went from level 1 to 5, veteran from 4 to 10, and nightmare from 8 to 15. This made the boss easier for low-level clans, but high-level clans now had the ability to fight a boss 5 levels higher than the old max for much larger rewards. This made it so raids now took a small amount of strategy to defeat due to the higher difficulty, but it still wasn't enough to save them from being a boring and grindy chore. On November 24, 2022, clans finally got to a decent place. The boss's health was reduced to 100. This essentially halved the work you had to do to defeat it, which was a massive step in the right direction. After this change, you only had to 3-0 a raid boss 7 times to beat it alone, but if you're doing it with 5 other people, you only have to 3-0 it 1 or 2 times. Raids actually felt worth doing after this change and were in their best state yet. However, it sadly wouldn't stay this way for long. On March 30th, 2023, all free-to-play gems were removed from the game, making them only accessible if you use real money to purchase something. Raids used to be the biggest source of gems in the game, which is the only reason people actually played them. Now without gems, the raids gave less rewards than a single quest. Considering the rewards are the only incentive to do raids in a maxed out clan, making the rewards useless essentially made raids useless as well. Sadly, no changes to raids have been made since, and they remain barely played by anyone. In the August stage channel, it was confirmed that raids would be removed in Update 8. They likely won't be added back until Global, when they can be added back in a more polished and complete state.
Raids, again, raids are something very similar to the expeditions. They work, but not to a satisfaction and degree that we want them to work. And so we need more time to do them right. So we will just not have them in Update 8. I'm sorry.
So now the question is, when raids are added back, how can we make them not feel like a chore? How can we make them feel satisfying to complete with your clan, and fun at the same time? How can we make them a feature people consistently play for years to come? Firstly, raids need to have good rewards. Currently, the reason raids are almost never played is due to the incredibly small rewards. You put in all this time for almost nothing. They don't have to add gems back, and they likely never will, but they need to at least increase their rewards a little bit. Coins, crystal coins, whatever, as long as it gives more than a single quest. They could even add a season shop similar to Clash Royale on Marvel Snap, where every raid gives you a new currency that you can spend on skins and avatars, but the shop would reset every month, and so would your currency, giving you some incentive to play raids and buy everything before the season is up. Doing this would add a ton of longevity to the raids, and make them a feature that people would actually play for years, so they could get these rewards every month. Secondly, raids were added as a social feature, but they've never felt much like it. They've always been something you do alone, and a clanmate just happens to join sometimes. There's no actual strategizing with your clanmates. If you were required to collaborate with clanmates in raids, it would solve the problem of raids feeling boring due to the lack of strategy between you and your clanmates. For example, Clan Wars in Clash of Clans does this very well. You have to strategize with your clanmates, having to decide who takes out what base and how. There's numerous ways more collaboration could be added. One way it could be done is a 5v1 battle against the boss, but that could be challenging to coordinate times to fight the boss and communicating in matches. Another way it could be done is a dungeon-style mode similar to Clash Quest, where you have to strategize with your clanmates on which person takes out which dungeon, which is somewhat similar to Clash of Clans Clan Wars as well. There are infinite ways more teamwork could be added to raids, but as long as it takes actual strategy and makes it fun to strategize with your clanmates, it'll turn out well. Overall, raids definitely need some change, and although I don't entirely agree with removing them until they're reworked, I understand it. All we can hope for is when they're added back that they're more polished and most of all, fun to play. All they need to do is make the rewards worthwhile, make the raids fun to do while also taking up the strategy. If they take all this into account while also looking at mistakes made in the past, raids can be one of the most fun and most played features in Clash Mini. Thank you all so much for watching. It truly means a lot that you're watching my first ever video on this channel. I know there's 100% a ton of improvement I can make, so please leave some feedback down below in the comments. I want to improve, so any feedback is appreciated no matter what. Also look out for a poll in the next couple days so you can vote on my next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Thank you all so much for watching. Skeletron out.